Good evening, everyone. This is BremSter, and today I'm coming to you with the puzzle from Cagey Constraints that I have felt the most guilty for sitting on for 18 months. This is Mastermind by Phistomefel, and this is a puzzle that Phistomefel submitted to the pack, as I said, about 18 months ago, and has only been seen by a handful of people. I felt very guilty having this puzzle sitting here in the pack, and the pack not being going anywhere. So the pack's been out. By the time you see this video, hopefully the pack will have been out for a little bit, but this is the puzzle that I'm also the most nervous about recording. Now, this is not a blind solve. This is very much not a blind solve, because we test solved this puzzle when we first got it about 18 months ago as a group solve, and there was a few things that we discovered, and one person then was able to find something that was absolutely magical and broke this puzzle open. I took notes at the time as to what that was, and I'm going to reuse that now in order to solve it. Now, I'll have to see how I go, but I do know the break into this puzzle, and I do know what we originally tried. So I'm going to show you what we originally tried, and then I'm going to show you what we eventually did. And then I'm going to have to pretty much solve the puzzle from there. So, of course, this is from Cagey Constraints. There'll be a link below. Let's have a look at Mastermind by Phistomefel. Probably the easiest one to explain in the pack for rules perspective, because this is a pure killer. I couldn't find another pure killer by Phistomefel, but I didn't look that hard. But yes, a pure killer puzzle by Phistomefel. So, normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. And then killer, digits in cages must sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage, and digits may not repeat within cages. Now, why is this puzzle called Mastermind? Originally, the Cagey Constraints pack, which was going to be the third pack in the series, was going to be a story pack, and it was going to be set around a heist and people investigating the sections of heists, and then at the end you would encounter the mastermind, and this was going to be the final puzzle in the pack. That never came to fruition. There were many things that got in the way of it, and now we've just ended up with a bunch of puzzles we're releasing, and this is one of them. So let's restart my timer, or restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. Now, I'm going to show you with the first deduction I remember making when exploring this puzzle, and then I'm going to show you the deduction that Xeon Risk found that really broke this open. So what I remember discovering was looking at row 1 and then row 9. And I'm going to end up definitely using my calculator for this, because, oh my lord, am I going to need it. So, and I'm also going to use the killer calculator built into Sudoku Pad for this, because there'll be times when I just need it. This is a hard puzzle, and rather than sitting here watching me go math, 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 I'm going to use the killer calculator to make my journey more better. So if we look at row 1, we know that those digits there contain all of the digits from 1 to 9, so they add to 45. This is another 45, and this cell has been counted twice. But we know what the sum of these cells are. So we know the sum of all of those cells, because this is 45 minus 27, which this is where, so 45 minus 27 is 18. 18 plus 21 is 39. 49, 54. So all of these cells sum to 54. So if we take yellow out of those are yellow out of those and turn orange to yellow, what we've ended up with is we took 54 away. So if we take 54 away from 90, we end up with these yellow cells have to sum to 36. So what we end up with is yellow equals 36. And we know that these cells here have to sum to 36. And there's a fair bit of pressure from that, because the minimum we could make any of those is 7, 8, 9. So we could never put particularly low digits in these, because if these are 7, 8, 9, these still have to sum, which is 24, these would still have to sum to 12. So we could never use a 1 and a 2 anywhere in this. And if we used a 3, then these would become quite pressured, and there's a whole heap of pressure, particularly considering if we then do the same down here with blue, that being 1 blue, that being blue, and this cell being counted twice. The second blue is a bit hard to see, but it is there, so I might change it to purple. So if we look at those, then we can do exactly the same thing, because what we have is each of these is 45. So blue sums to 90 with that cell being counted twice. But we know that this is 45 minus 13, which is 32. So those sum to 32, plus 25 is 57, plus, is that right? So hang on, 32 plus 25 is 57, 67, 76. So if we take those away, we end up with 76, and we turn those blue. And now we know that blue is 90 minus 76. So we know blue is 14. So with blue being 14, these are forced to be very low. And these can't be particularly high. So in one direction they can't be particularly low, and in the other they can't be can't be very high. And if you do a lot of math around that, you can determine that these basically need to be mid digits, but you've got to do a lot of casing to make that work. That's where we got to, and when we were doing our group solve, we spent probably about 20 minutes playing around with those corner digits, trying to find what the pressure points were and making a deduction using these cages and everything. Then Xeon Risk came along and said, have a look at this. So I'm going to reset all the color from scratch. So we're going to use set equivalence theory, because of course we are. So we know that this is going to contain all of the digits from 1 to 9. So set equivalence theory is using equivalent compositions of digits, equivalent sets of digits, and then making eliminations to try and figure out where digits in the grid are going to have to be the same. So we know that this is a set of the digits from 1 to 9. We know that this is a set of the digits from 1 to 9, with that cell being counted twice. And we know that this is a set of the digits from 1 to 9. So they are completely disconnected set. So those digits, with this one being counted twice, will be 3 1s, 3 2s, 3 3s, all the way up to 3 9s. We then come along and we put that into blue. We put that into blue, counting this one twice, and we put this into blue. And those have a lot of pressure on each other, because those are, blue is 3 sets of the digits 1 to 9, and yellow is 3 sets of the digits 1 to 9. So they are completely identical digits. And if you remove a digit from, this is a hard puzzle, so hopefully this isn't too difficult a concept, but if you remove a digit from both sets, the sets are still identical. So if we remove all of these cells, which are in both sets, then the sets are still identical. Now, this is once in blue and twice in yellow. So if we remove it once from blue and once from yellow, it becomes yellow. This is twice in blue and once in yellow. So if we remove it once from blue and once from yellow, it just becomes blue. So we end up with these being identical sets of digits. These have exactly the same digits making them up. But we can go one step further, because we know the totals almost completely of those. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to use my calculator here because I am terrible at math. We know that the yellow cages in here are 21 plus 15 plus 13. So 21 plus 15 is 36, plus 13 is, 36, 46, 49. So the yellow cages are 49. We then have the blue cages. I'm just typing these in, which are 27 plus 25. So 27 plus 25 is 52, plus 19 is 62, 71. So the blue cages are 71. So we already have the fact that there is a huge difference between them. So if we subtract 49 from 71, and I'm going to do that, we end up with a 22 difference. So the difference I'm really writing these down. I used to do it with pen and paper, but it's slower if I do that. So the difference between blue and yellow, if we remove all of the cages, is 22. So now we're not working with identical digits, we're working with sums. So at this point, we know that yellow, we removed 49 from the cages in yellow and we removed 71 from the cages in blue. So at the moment, yellow needs to be 22 more than blue in order for us to maintain equality. So in order for these to become equal again, yellow has to be 22 more than blue because we removed a lot more from the blue cages. So what are our maximums now? So what is the maximum we could put into yellow? If we were to put the maximum we could into yellow, so we want to get as many 9s in. Well, the most 9s you could get into yellow would be to put 2 9s into those, because if I put a 9 here, I can't put 9 into those. If we put 2 9s into there and an 8 into there, because we can't use 3 9s, these would be 18 plus 8, which would be 26. So in yellow, I'll just use this cell, we would end up with 26. So that is the most we can get. But we need yellow to be way bigger than blue by 22. And what's the minimum we can put into blue with 2 1s and a 2 is 4. And the difference between 26 and 4 is 22. So we're automatically landing at the situation where in order for the sums to be equal, we absolutely need that to be the case. And this needs to be 9s with 8. And this needs to be 1s with 2. And if we don't do that, then the sets are not going to hit their totals. And that's the break into this puzzle. And it's absolutely stunning. And there were, I think, 6 of us attempting to solve it for nearly an hour, and we did not find that. Which is why this is a hard puzzle, but exactly what we would expect from Phistomefel. It is brilliant. I love that break-in. If you find the set, it's not that hard. It's beautiful. So now there's a lot of deductions we can make, because now here we've got a 21 cage, which cannot contain an 8 or a 9. So the maximum digits we could put into it are 4, 5, 6, and 7. 4, 5, 6, and 7, if you add them together, is 22. So we need to reduce those digits by only 1. And the only digit you can remove by 1 without causing a duplication is the 4 to a 3. So this is 3, 5, 6, 7. These digits here have to be 1, 2, and 4. There's a 1, 2 looking up. That becomes your 4. And we've confirmed that middle digit. Down here, we've got a 19 cage. The minimum digits we can put in it are 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6, if you add them together, are 18. We need to increase one of those digits by 1. The only digit we can increase without causing a duplicate is the 6 to a 7. So these become 3, 4, 5, 7. These become 6, 8, 9, and there's an 8, 9 in this column. So this becomes the 6. There's no 6 here. And these have been locked in as middle digits. Absolutely stunning. The 1 looks up making this the 2 and this the 1. The 9 looks down making this the 8 and this the 9. I love this puzzle. So from this point on, I'm almost flying blind. This 25 cage can no longer have a 1 in it. It can no longer have a 2 in it, and it can no longer have a 4 in it. So I'm trying to figure out whether I just want to use the killer calculator or not. This 15 cage can't have a 9, an 8, or a 6 in it. Do I want to use the killer calculator? This 27 cage, actually I think this is more powerful. Because a 27 cage in 4, we know that 6, 7, 8, 9... 6, 7, 8, 9 is 30. So we're very close to that. So what are the maximum digits I can use here? I can't, 9, I can't use 8, 7, 6, 5. Now 5, what do those sum to? 5 and 6 is 11, plus 7 is 18, plus 9 is 27. That is 5, 6, 7, 9. And these are 3 and 4. So we know the makeup of this 15 cage. This is 2, 5, 7, and 1. 1, 2, 5, 7 is, 2 and 5 is 7, plus 7 is 14, plus 1. There's no 1 here. So that's the makeup of this cage. Can I do the same down here? We have 13 without 2. The minimum digits are 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 4, and 5 is 10. Add the 3. Those are what they are. So this is 6, 7. And this is the makeup of this cage. And these are 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, 8, and 9. If I add those together, 3, 5 is 8, plus 8 is 16, plus 9 is 25. That's not a 9. This is such a cool puzzle. But what would you expect from Phistomefel? Now I need to figure out what comes next. A 12 cage without a 1 or a 9 in it. I'm not sure the 9 makes a difference though. Because I couldn't have used a 9 in it, because if I had a 9 in here, I would have needed to use a 1, 2. I also can't use a 6. Does that do anything? So I must use a 2 or a 3 in the 12 cage. Because if I don't use a 2 or a 3 in it, I end up with 4, 5, 6. Or 4, 5, 7. Actually, that's a problem. Must I use a 2? Because if I don't use a 2, I can't use 2 and 3. Can I? 2, 3, 7. Actually, I can. But if I use a 2, it would have to go there. I can't. The digit I can't use in here, though, I think, is an 8. Because if I use an 8 in there, I need 2 digits that sum to 4. And I can't make 2 digits that sum to 4 because I don't have a 1 available. So there's no 8 in any of those digits, and this becomes an 8. Can I do a similar trick up here? Can I put a 2 in the 17 cage? I can't use a 1, I can't use a 4, and I can't use a 9. Can I put a 2 in there? What are the maximum digits I've got? They're 5, 6, 7, which is 21. No, they're 6, 7, 8, sorry, which is 21. If I use 5, 6, 7, that's 18. But I can't use 4, 6, 7 because the 4 is not available. So 5, 6, 7, which would be the minimum I could have if I don't use an 8, isn't possible. I can't drop it by 1 because the 4 is not available. This is a trick I've started to figure out. Does that mean I have to use the 8? Because if I don't use the 8, 7, 6 is 13. And then I would need a 4. If I drop down and don't use the 6, 7, 5 is 12 and I'd need another 5. And after that I hit 7, 4, which I can't use. 7, 3 would need another 7. 7, 2 I'd need an 8. And I've hit needing an 8. There must be an 8 in this cage. With 2 digits that sum to 9. Which can't be 1, 8, but they could be 2, 7, 3, 6. Oh, there's no 8 there. This is the 8. Because of that 8. And these have to sum... So, Interestingly, I was just looking at 2 in this row because I realized I couldn't put 2 in that 10 cage. I can't put 2 in any of those. I can't put 2 in the 10 cage because it would become 2, 8. So 2 is in one of those 3, but I don't think I can put 2 there because if this was 2, 8, that would have to be an 8 to make the total work. So 2 is in one of those 2. Now a 2 here would mean these would need to sum to 10. Which would be, couldn't be 1, 9, couldn't be 2, 8, couldn't be 4, 6. These would be 2, 3, 7. And this would be 5 and 4. That works. Oh, this can't be the 2 because of that 2. This is the 2 and there's no 2 in here. This is 1, 5, 7. So does that mean I can tell what this is? Because there's no 2 or 8 in that 12 cage. But there has to be a low digit. If there's no low digit, then it's 4, 5, 6 and it's 15. There's a 3 in there. So 3 and 2 digits that sum to 9, which is not 1, 8, it's not 2, 7, it's not 3, 6. This is 3, 4, 5. And there's no 3, 4, 5 there. That's the 7, and I can take 7 out of those. The 7 looks up taking 7 out of those. This is a 1, 3, 4, 5 quadruple. So the 1 is in those, and there's no 1 here. This 10 cage, this is a 3, 4, 5 triple. So these are 1. They're not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And I can't do a 6, 4 or a 7, 3 in here. This is not 6, 7. This is 1, 9, taking 1, 9 out of there. So this is either 8, 6, which is 14 with a 4, or 8, 7, which is 15 with a 3. Can I do the same trick here? I don't think I can, because I don't have that digit. I can't put a 1 or a 2 in the 12 cage. Yay me. These sum to 9. They can't be 1, 8. They can be 2, 7. They can be 3, 6. So these are only from 2, 7 or 3, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So every digit is actually being placed in that column. This sums to 9 and this sums to 9. So I've got 9, 18, 27, 35. These have to sum to 10. Well, I can't put a 1 in here. So these are 10 with a 1 in it. So they're 1 plus 2 digits that sum to 9. 2, 7, 3, 6, or 4, 5. That's crazy. But it makes sense. That's math. That's math. Okay. By Sudoku, 1 is in one of those. Is there another digit that goes in there by Sudoku? Probably, eventually. So if this is a 1, these are 2 digits that sum to 11. They'd be 7, 4, or 5, 6. So 7, 4, or 5, 6. But that's not forced to be a 1. That could be 1, 9. Two is in one of those two. Can that be a 2? Those would sum to 15. Eight is in one of those 3. Can I do 8, 4 in there? I don't see why not. Okay, I am stumped. Two and 8 are in here, but I'm not sure that with 6 or 7, I'm not sure that's helping me either. Eight. Oh, 1 8 and 1 8. There's an 8 down here. So this can't be 1 and 8 because they don't sum to 10. So one of them is in there. And this is either 1 9 or 2 8. They're the only things that are possible. So 4 is not down here and it's not up here. So 4 is in here. This becomes 3 and this becomes 4. That 3 takes 3 out of there, which takes 6 out of there. If this is 8, these have to sum to 4 and would be 1 3. So this would be 3, this would be 1. 3 here would make this 2 7, this would be 5, this would be 6. I think that's okay. This is 1, these have to sum to 11, which I think I've already looked at. They'd have to be 7 4, which would be 7 and 4, or 5 6 in either order. This can't be 1 8. 2 7 3 6 or 4 5. Don't you love a puzzle that has a break-in that's that tricky and then doesn't collapse? I can't complain. I've done the same. I made a set break-in pure killer puzzle that broke a lot of people. Thing is, I've got the makeup of the cages in the set, so I know it's not that. Well, at least I don't think it's that. Except for this one. Except that wasn't in the set. The sets were those. And then... and with the elimination, so yeah, I've got the cages that were in the set and everything, so they're all equivalent already. So it's got to be done with Sudoku. And I'm not seeing how. It'll be a math, it's a math trick. It's going to be a math trick. This is 17, 27, 31. These have to sum to 14. Those have to sum to 14. Those have to sum to 14. That's got to be it, doesn't it? So how do I do 14? If this is 7, this becomes 3 6, that becomes 5. And that's... if this is 7, this becomes 3 6, this becomes 5. And that's 2. And that's fine. If this is 3, this is 5, that's 8. And this would have to be 6, and that's fine. Because then this wouldn't be, this would be 2 7. I don't think it is a math trick, or at least not there. Where else can I do a math trick? Is there anywhere I can do a math trick? I mean, I haven't made a mistake down here, have I? These have to sum to 7. No, these have to sum to 9. So they're... No, these have to sum to 10. So they're 4, 6, or 3, 7. I'm really breaking my... What's wrong with me? If this is 8, 4, this is 3, 5... This is 6, 9, 7 is up there. Hang on, where is 7 in this? Oh yeah, I've already got 7 is in one of those two. If this is... Can I put 2 here? If this is 8, 2, this is 1. And it can be. But it can't be 1, 2. But it can be 8, 2, 1. No! That math is wrong. This can't be a 2. Where's 2 in this box? I can't put 2 there. This is 8, 2, that's 10, and this would have to be a 2, and that's broken. And if this is 1, 2, that'd be 3, and that'd have to be a 9, and that's broken. There's no 2 there. 2 is in here. These sum to 9, so this is 2, 7. It's not 3, 6. This is 2, 7. There's no 7 here. These are 3, 5, and 6. And there's a 6 in one of those two. But there's a 6. So now can I do the math here? This is 2, 7. If this is 1, 3, that would be 8. If this is 1, 5, that would be 6. And 1, 6 would be 5. So if this is 1, this is a 5, 6 pair. If this is an 8, I don't see a problem there. And this would be 2 and 7. 2 is in one of these, though, by Sudoku. Can that be a 2? No. 2 and 8 would need a 2. 2 and 1 would need a 9. That's not a 2. 2 is in one of these two. 2 here? But, hang on, I now know about this, don't I? This can't be 1, 8. It can't be 2, 7. This is 3, 6, or 4, 5. Six is in one of those three by Sudoku. Seven is in here by Sudoku. But that can't be 7, can it? 1, 7 would need that to be 4. And 8, 7, I've already blown the total. That's not a 7. This is a 2, 7 pair. So there's a 1 in one of these two. If that's a 1, 8, that's a 3. But that takes 1 out of there. If this is 8, this is 3, 1. If this is 1, these have to sum to 11, which is 5, 6. Because I can't use... And that can't be the 6. So this would be the 5 and this would be the 6. That can't be the 5. Because if this is 1, these have to sum to 11. I can't use 9, 2. I can't use 8, 3. 7, 4. 7. I can't use 7, 4 because I can't put 7, 4 there. So it'd be in that order because I can't make that the 6. I'm missing something here. Four in this column is now down here, so there's no 4 here. If this is 3, 6, this is 5, 1. and that's 4. Oh man, I am not doing great at this. I feel there's something more powerful going on here. Why does 165 not work? Makes that 5. That would become 6 because, no, that's not true. Huh. No one's ever going to watch these videos, I know that. Is it this 12? 8-4 still works. 9-3 still works. 7. Can't put 7. Actually, I can't put 7-5 in it. So it is either 9-3 or 8-4. What did I just do? It's either 9-3 or 8-4. So there's a virtual 3-4 pair in here. I can't put 3 or 4 in any of these. So I can't put 3-4 here, because if I put 3 or 4 here, I'd have a 3-4 pair. These would become 8-9. So this can't be 3 or 4. So there must be a 5 down here. Right, oh, of course. Because if there's no 5 here, this is 3-4. And if this is 3-4, this is 8-9. There must be a 5 down here. There's no 5 here. This is a 3-4 pair now. So what are these? 2, 5, 6, 9? So these are 2, 6, and 9 because I can't put a 5 in them. 5 is up here and not here. These are from 2, 6, 9. Can that be a not? How is that 3-4 pair not done more? This can't be 1, it can't be 2, it can't be 3-4, can't be 5, it can be 6, it can't be 7, it could be 8. Can it be 9? I think it can. If this is 9, this is 6, 7. This is 4, 8, and this is 3, 5. That's all fine. And that's 4 and that's 3. Okay. What am I missing? Knuckle up, BremSter. What are you missing? What are you missing? It's got to be something. I'm looking for where I could potentially use totals. I'm trying to solo solve a puzzle that took us a long time as a group, but this will probably just be me scanning again. This can't be 3, 5, can it? Because if this is 3, 5, this becomes 4, 6, and that doesn't sum to 9. This can't be 3, 5. So there must be something in here to break this being 3, 5. That's the 1. There's no 1 there. The 1 looks up saying that's not the 1. This is the 1. These have to sum to 11. They can't be 6, 5. So these are 8 and 3. There's no 2, 8 in here. This is 1, 9. That takes 9 out of those. 3 makes this 5, which makes this 6, taking 6 out of those. This is a triple. 2, 4, 9. No, not 2, 4, 9. 2, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, making those the 7, that the 7 and that the 2. It was the same trick as I used over here, but here, and I missed it. There's no 3 in those. That's a 4, 5 pair. That's the 3, which means these aren't 3, 6. This is the 4, 5. That's the 6. There's no 5 in there, of course. This is the 3, 8, 9 because of that. The 6 takes 6 out of there. Can I do the same thing here? I've got to be able to. I knew there was a 5 in here. The 5 looks back, making this the 6, which makes this the 7, which makes this the 9, which makes this the 5. The 9 takes the 9 out of this, so this isn't 9, 3. This is 4, 8, which takes 4 out of there, making that 3, 5. That becomes the 4, which makes this the 3. The 8 takes 8 out of there. The 9 takes 9 out of there. That becomes the 6. This isn't the 6. This is a 2, 9. But 3 and 8 is 11. So this has to be the 7, which means this is the 6 and this is the 7. I missed this column for too long. The 3 looks back making this the 5 and this the 3. The 5 looks back making this the 4 and this the 5. There's going to be a lot of people calling me slow on this one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 6, 8. And the 8 looks down saying that's not the 8. Have I broken the back of this puzzle yet? Considering I haven't used these cages and this is a Phistomefel puzzle, my guess is no. 7 looks up taking 7 out of there. Because I've used everything except these cages now. Everything except those is fully resolved. This 3 takes 3 out of there. So, if this is a 2, these have to sum to 9. They couldn't be 1, 8. It could be 2, 7. It could be 3, 6. It could be 4, 5. Holy cow. If this is a 7, these have to add to 4. And they can be 1, 3 with 1 and 3. And that would make that 1, that 3. Okay. I know there's a low digit in a 14 cage because if you don't use a low digit, you end up with 4, 5, 6. I don't have a 1 available because of the 1, 9 pair. So there is a 2 or a 3 in this cage because there's no 1 available in the cage. So there is a 2 or a 3 in that cage. 2 can go anywhere, 3 could only go in those two. Is it 17 cage? This is a 2, this would have, if this is a 2, this is a 6, 9. With 6, well 6 is in one of these. If this is a 6, these have to sum to 5. Which would be 2, 3. And it can't be. This can't be a 6, because 6 and 7, I've already blown the total, and 6 and 2, this would have to be a 3, and it can't be. This isn't the 6. 6 here. 6 and 9 is 15, and that would have to be a 2. Fine. 6 and 2 is 8, and that would have to be a 9. That's fine. Okay, can I disprove 6 from here? 6 here would need 2 digits that sum to 8. I couldn't use 1, 7. I couldn't use 2, 6. But I could use 3, 5. Wow, this is not giving up. Okay, what do I know from Sudoku? I know that I'm not very good at it. Can I put a 7 in that 14 cage? Can I put an 8 in the 14 cage? If I put an 8 in the 14 cage, what do I end up with? So if I put an 8, because 8 can't go here. So if I put an 8 in the 14 cage, I would need 2 digits that sum to 6. They couldn't be 1, 5, so it would have to be 2, 4. If I make this 2, 4, 8, this would be 6, and this would be 6. There's no 8 in here, because if this was 2, 4, 8, I would have too many even digits. There's no 8 in here. 8 is in one of these 3. Okay. Which means this isn't an 8, and this is an 8. Now, there's no 8 in the 14 cage. Now, I must use a low digit. I don't have to use a high digit, though. If I use a 7 in the cage, I need 2 digits that sum to 7. Now, actually, do I want to ask the question, can I put 8 in here? Because I can't put 8 with 9. So if I put 8 in here, it's 8 with 2. And then I would need... If I put 8 in here, it's 8 with 2, because 8 and 9 is already 17, and I would need a 0. But if I put 8 with 2, I need a 7, and I don't have it. So there's no 8 in this cage. This is an 8. So this is a 9, and there's no 9 in here. Oh, come on, do more than that. There's a 1 or a 9 in here, because none of these are 1 and 9, and I can only put one of them there. So there's a 1 or a 9 in here, and it can't be a 1. I can't put a 1 in here. Where is 1 in this column? I can't put it in those. I can't put it in those. I can't put it here. If I put a 1 here, these would have to sum to 16. This would be the 9. They can't use 2 and 14, so it'd be 9, 7, and I can't do it. That's not a 1. That's not a 1. This is a 1. This is a 9. This is a 1. This is a 9. Come on. So there's... I feel like that's done almost nothing. I possibly could... No, it was the 8 that gave me the 9 that gave me those for the pointing 8s. So if this is a 2, this is 6, 9. If this is a 9, these sum to 8. They're not 1, 7. They're not 2, 6. Okay. So if this is a 2, these have to sum to 15. I can't use 7, 8, so these would be 6 and 9. If this is a 9, these have to sum to 8. They can't be 1, 7. They can't be 2, 6. And they can't be 3, 5. So this is 2, 6, 9. This is a 9. That's still done nothing. There's no 6 in here anymore. So if I don't include a 7 in this, the maximum I could use would be 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5 is 12. So I have to have a 7 in here. So there's no 7 here. The 3, 5 makes this the 7. Now I'd need 2 digits that add to 7. I'm not using 1, 6. So it's 2, 5 or 3, 4. If it's 2, 5, that's a 3, and that can't be a 3. If it's 2, 5, that's a 3, and that can't be a 3. If it's 3, 4, that can't be a 3. That's not a 3. But if it's 2, 5, that can't be a 5. And if it's 3, 4, that's a 5. That's a 4 either way. Hang on. Is that right? No, let me. This is 2, 5, 3, 4, 7. Which means I have a 3, 5 virtual pair because I've either got a 3 or a 5 in here. If this is a 3, this is 2, 5, and that's a 4. If this is 3, 4, that's a 5, and that has no fill. This can't be 3, 4. This is 2, 5, 7. That's 3, that's 5, that's 4, and there's no 4 there. Understanding this is breaking me. The 3 looks down, making that, the 5 looks down, making that the 3 and that the 5. This, no, the 6 makes this a 2, which makes this a 6. I hope I haven't made a mistake. The 2 and the 6 look up, making that the 4, taking 4 out of there. The 6 looks up, making that the 2 and that the 6. This is a triple. 1, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 3, 4. There is no 1 there. There is no 3 there. I've got to be able to do more here, right? Or is it from this? The maximum here is 7. So if that's a 2, I can't get the 9. So that's a 7. That's a 2. There's no 7 here. These now have to sum to 4. So they're 1 and 3. That's 1, that's 3, that's 4. The 3 makes that the 8 and that the 3. The 8 looks back, making that the 4 and that the 8. The 2 takes 2 out of there. The 2 takes 2 out of there. This is the 2. The 1 looks over, making that the 5, which makes that the 7 and that the 1. The 7 looks over, making that the 5 and that the 7. The 5 looks back, making that the 4 and that the 5. And that's the solution. I solved Mastermind. I solved Mastermind. I solved Mastermind. Give me this moment of pleasure. That it is not often that BremSter solves a Phistomefel puzzle. Even one he solved before. It was a while ago. That was absolutely stunning. Now, Xeon Risk is the one who found that break-in. Credit where credit is due. Now, I'm sure Phistomefel found it first. Absolutely. But from a solving perspective, I stole it from Xeon. Absolutely. I hope people are enjoying the pack, and I hope if you are getting stuck and you are using the videos for assistance, that this one helps you, because I love this puzzle. The fact that we were given this puzzle 18 months ago, and I've had a Phistomefel puzzle sitting in my spreadsheet of here are puzzles to release going nowhere for this long, it has made me feel so bad. So I hope you're enjoying it now that it's coming out. Thank you everyone for watching, and as always, good luck with your solving.